Hello and welcome to Chart of the Day Cafe for Thursday, November 23rd, 2017. Disclaimer quickly, trading stocks is a high level of risk and viewers should complete their own due diligence on any stock or underlying that they intend to own. 100% of the content of this video and communique is intended for journalistic and educational purposes only. This video and all indicators, strategies, and articles herein should not be construed as investment advice. Not making any recommendations, always for your further homework. Good morning, Sue here with video number 300 in our regular Tuesday, Thursday morning video series. Wow, that is such a big number to me. I started putting these videos out in September of 2014 and have tried to put one out every Tuesday and Thursday morning since. I really enjoyed doing them and I hope you enjoy watching them as well. Also wanted to say, I'm from Canada, but I wanted to say a big happy Thanksgiving weekend to our American friends and viewers. And with that, let's get into today's video. I always start off with a look at the Russell Index. Why? Because I want to make sure that before I put any new names forward for my watch list, I'm putting them forward in a rising market environment. And for that, I use the IWM, which is the ETF that represents the Russell 2000. And I like to step back and take a look at it on the bigger time frame. So I start with the 5-year monthly. We've been keeping an eye on this area up here. If you're a new viewer, this blue line represents long-term support and resistance. Remember, we're looking at the 5-year chart. The orange line is more medium support. This black diagonal line here is short-term support resistance. And the purple line I'm going to explain in a minute. But want you to note that this wedge pattern has been unfolding in the Russell since the very beginning of the year, and this black line has been holding price in since January. So we're just watching this pattern and seeing how it develops. Note the candle for the month of September was a bullish one, pushing us up and through our black diagonal line. The candle for the month of October was a teeny tiny one, but it sat right on the top of our line. And so far for the month of November, we are up and over. But it's all about staying up and over, right? We've had a strong couple of days, but it really hasn't been enough to create a momentum looking candle that has a bit of a body at the top. That's what I would like to see. Not sure if we'll get it, but we'll watch and see in the days ahead. So that's the bigger picture. Let me pull it into the smaller time frame so we can better see how price is behaving. So we're looking at the 1-year weekly. This is the same wedge pattern, same dark black line, same orange line of support resistance down here. And here's where this purple line comes into play. We drew it in several weeks ago, saying that, look, the Russell was starting to kind of show a little bit of weakness, come back into our black line. If the uptrend is going to continue, it's going to need to get through that purple line, which it did last week. And now we are up and over the black line as well. So the Russell has been still showing that continued strength. This blue line here is very important to me. It's the 8-day EMA. I like to see price on the Russell up and over that 8-day EMA, ideally on the weekly as well as the daily chart. So we're looking at the weekly. I just wanted you to see that weekly picture. So volume. And so far strong candles for last week and this week. Worth noting, this morning I looked around at some of the news and I thought it was worth noting China had a pretty significant sell-off last night to the tune of pretty close to 3%. That's a big number. And I think I read about some liquidity issues, so I would be keeping an eye on that for sure in the days ahead. So I'm going to move it away from the weekly chart now to the 3-month daily. And so here's our same blue EMA. When price on the Russell is up and over the blue 8-day EMA, I am adding new names to my watch list. And so I am going to add a new name this morning. And the new name we're adding this morning is Goldcorp Inc., ticker symbol GG on the New York Stock Exchange as well. It trades on the Toronto Exchange. It's a big Canadian gold mining company. For the purposes of today's video, we're looking at it on the US side. Before I get into the chart, let me tell you a little bit more about the company. Goldcorp is, together with its subsidiaries, engages in the acquisition, exploration, development, and operation of precious metals properties in Canada, the the United States, Mexico, and Central South America. It explores primarily for gold, silver, copper, lead, and zinc. It's a big player in the space. You know what Chart of the Day Cafe? It is all about the fundamental scores underneath my chart picks. I focus primarily on value and growth, and Goldcorp has a really nice high value score. It's got a forecasted earnings growth rate going forward of 34%, a current PE of 26.20, and pays a small dividend. It's got a dividend yield of 0.73%. So with that, let's get into the chart. We're looking at the 2-year weekly. You can see on the 2-year chart, it's in a gentle uptrend and sitting at an area that may offer possible support. We're looking at the weekly chart, remember. So I'm going to pull it away from the 2-year weekly to the 3-month daily and say it's bouncing off this line of support. It had a good day yesterday. I would be looking for follow through in the days ahead. Oops, sorry about my wheel. You know, for me, it's all about price being up and over that blue 8-day EMA. It has a 3 and 8 cross. We talked about the 3 and 8 in our Tuesday video, saying for me, I like to see a trigger where the 3 EMA crosses the blue and lift. So whether that's a little early for you maybe, but I would be looking for a continuation on that in the days ahead. We'll see if that happens. I have no crystal ball, but I like the look of this chart. Along with our new watch list pick, we also like to take a look at the sector that it's in, and for that I am looking at GLD, which is the ETF for gold. Looking at the 2-year weekly chart, you can see the 2-year weekly, like Goldcorp, is in an uptrend by our black diagonal line. And then I've got another area of support and resistance drawn in here with my orange line. It looks as though perhaps that trend, if this continues from here, is accelerating just a little bit. It's all about follow through in this area. I'm going to move it away from the weekly to the daily, and you can see that price is up and over that 8-day EMA and lifting. We want to see continuation on that, but I like the look of this chart. I also like to take a look at seasonality, and for that I go over to equityclock.com. Excellent site, love it, can't say enough about it. And here is the seasonal chart for Goldcorp. You can see it's a bit wonky, going up and down, but for the most part strong, like its seasonality. I'm also going to include this Barron's article that I dug up, Gold Miners, you win some, you lose some, but you still win some. Insightful on Goldcorp and worth a read. And an interview after their last earnings report with the CEO that I found this on BNN. Profits look to be picking up. It might be worth taking a look at this as well. And so to summarize, let's go back and check the boxes for Goldcorp. I started today's video with a look at the Russell Index, and we note that the Russell is in an overall uptrend with price currently up and over the 8-day EMA on the daily chart. Having said that, that sell-off last night in China is worth noting. You want to make sure that no weakness starts to sneak into this market here. Might be time to be extra cautious and keep an eye. We looked at the sector that Goldcorp is in, GLD. It's in an uptrend on the 2-year chart. Goldcorp is in an uptrend on the 2-year chart and in an area of possible, emphasis on possible, lift and support on the daily chart. It's got a great value score. It's got a great growth score with a forecasted earnings growth rate going forward of 34%. That's a really nice healthy number. Current dividend yield of 0.73%. It does have a 3 and 8 EMA cross, which is something I look for, but just. Seasonality, it was a bit of a wonky chart, but for the most part, seasonal favor. I forgot to mention analyst support. If you check FinViz, you'll see that for the most part, Goldcorp does have analyst support. It's got a current PE of 26.20, and earnings have not been announced for the next quarter yet. As a reminder, these videos go out every Tuesday and Thursday morning. If you like receiving them, please subscribe to our channel by hitting the red subscribe button on my YouTube homepage. I would love to see our subscribership go up, so I encourage you to subscribe. That way you get the videos right away. With that, I will leave you. Have a great weekend, especially those in the States. Happy Thanksgiving again, and we'll put our next video out next Tuesday. Have a great weekend, everybody.